This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
1, 2, 3. Lovely.
Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. and you're welcome to the Maastricht edition on Facebook Live. Tonight, we will be joined by the lovely Irina Loskova to learn all about her life and career. Plus, we'll be exploring the festival of Diwali. We'll also have our regular segments, some new segments, some videos, and the usual fun and games. Stay tuned.
Yay! Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Maastricht edition. Here we are again. Hi, Trace. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm freaked out. It's 8 o'clock and we're doing the show.
I know. It's yes. It does kind of feel a bit weird that I had this extra hour. So I kind of was working towards the 7 o'clock show and then realised, oh no, I've got an extra hour to play with. That's kind of nice. So
I was still late, but in any case, some things never change. But
I'm not saying a word.
Don't worry, but I'm here. I had some technical issues on this side this evening. We've got like 8 laptops in the house and only one of them's working. But okay, I have one that's working and we're good to go.
It wouldn't be a normal show if we didn't have some kind of technical issue going on.
I had to think of us today. I was listening to the Irish radio show that I listen into from Ireland, obviously. And even they had gremlins in the system today. And they're like a professional, proper radio show and everything. So you see, it's not just us. It can happen to anybody.
Yeah, it happens on the BBC quite regularly. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. How's your week been?
It's been all right. Had an extra hour of sleep over the weekend. Marked Halloween with a fabulous carving of a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. And well, honestly, kind of been staying indoors a bit. It's been a bit kind of autumny, chilly, wet, kind of gloomy weather the last couple of days. But aside from that, things are all right. And it's Friday tomorrow. How about you? How was your week?
Oh, I can't remember. I'm sure it's been fine.
Sorry, how was your day? Maybe that's better than the week.
How was my day has been fine. There's been some progress with the renovation. Rumour has it that we're going to be finished soon, but yeah, we've heard that before, so we shall see.
I don't want to be one of those naysayers or a kind of negative Nelly, but we have heard this before.
Heard this before.
Let's see.
But I have been sending out some wishes to my Indian friends because,
yes,
of course, it's Diwali at the moment, which actually goes over about 5 days. So
yeah, I don't know terribly much about it, but I do know the 5-day thing, and there's a lot of kind of food and celebration, but I think it's all about the lights, isn't it? These beautiful colors and things.
It is all about the light, but food features quite heavily throughout, which I find very attractive, and especially when it comes to Indian food, because I do love a curry.
Do you now? Right. I like a curry, but it has to be quite a mild one. I can't be dealing with those hot and steamy ones at all. But of course, Indian, do they have curries at Diwali, or is there other special treats that they've got? Apparently they do, but of course our idea of curry and their idea of curry can be a little bit different, because we kind of use the word curry to cover all Indian food. As a British person, I would say, going for a curry, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm having what you would call a traditional curry, because there's all kinds of different foods, of course. Yes, and I understand in the media recently, actually, the term curry has come into a bit of disfavor, and actually some people were campaigning for it not to be applied for, these types of regional dishes or dishes that come specifically from India. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I can understand why, because I said we kind of use that as a broad term, don't we? And we'll say, we're going for a curry, when we mean we're going to an Indian restaurant and we're going to eat Indian food. Yeah. But of course, there's so much variety, and just like so many countries, depending on which part of India you go to, they've all got their regional dishes, which they'll all swear is the best Indian food.
I do, but
Like any
some
other
of them are
country.
absolutely, some of them, I mean, we will recognize. They apparently things like samosas and bhajis are eaten during Diwali festival, which we really love. And also, indeed, it says here meaty curries like tikka masalas, and also lots of vegetarian dishes and dals, which are also very, very nice. Sounds like a fun festival.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Well, I was looking at what actually happens over the 5 days. Apparently, on day one, people clean their homes and shop for gold or kitchen utensils, which apparently will help bring them good fortune. On day two, people decorate their homes with clay lamps and create design patterns called rangoli on the floor using coloured powders or sand. Day three, the main day of the festival, families gather together for Lakshmi Puja as a prayer to the goddess Lakshmi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Followed by loads of food. They do like a firework. Day four, that's the first day of the new year when friends and relatives visit with gifts and best wishes for the season. And then finally on day five, brothers visit their married sisters who welcome them with lots of love and more food.
Well, there you are.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, well, happy Diwali to everybody who's celebrating today. So it sounds like a lovely event. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big shout out to Gadha, who used to be a member of our team here at the Maastricht edition. She's had a birthday this week, and of course she will be celebrating as well. And for those of you who haven't tried Gadha's food, you have the opportunity because she produces a beautiful Indian food, both vegetarian and non-vegetarian, and she has some special dishes just for this week. So we shall put a link up to Indelicious Maastricht, which is where you can find a menu for all of Gadha's food. You can have it delivered. You can go and pick it up in the centre of Maastricht. It is absolutely gorgeous food. So
yeah, and not only very yummy cuisine, but also a particularly lovely lady as well. So she's a sweetheart. So absolutely, that's actually a bloody good idea, Joe. Because we're normally on a Friday night, Dave and I do a kind of takeaway or order in. So maybe I'll be giving Gadha a call tomorrow.
Well, I did notice that her menu for this week, there was some focus on some vegetarian dishes, especially for this week. Yeah. So check it out and report back. But I know what you're going to say anyway. You're just going to say, "Oh my goodness, that was just delicious."
Of course.
Now, for those of you who have just joined us, hello, good evening, welcome. We've got a packed show coming up this evening. We're going to have another segment from Meet Maastricht. We've got This Day in History. We've got Tracey's tiddy-bitties. And, of course, we've got our world-renowned opera singer guest, Irina Loskova, is going to be joining us later on in the show. But before we get there, we've got a few other bits and pieces to be getting through. And we've got something new for you. One of our partners, Maastricht, where you will find a calendar of events that are happening around the city. They're going to start sending us regular little videos each week, highlighting some top tips of places to go over the coming week. And we're going to start off this week. We've got Christina coming up from Maastricht.
Hello, it's Christina from the Maastricht. I am here to tell you about some lovely concerts that you can go and see this weekend. So first, Saturday the 6th at the Lutherse Kerk, it's a Russian guitar duo. Let me try and get these names. Evgenia Marcova and Vladimir Kirasirov. So they play, he plays the just straight normal guitar. She plays a Russian guitar called the Dorma. They do lots of classical and jazz repertoire, and the arrangements are purely for them. So it's a bit of a unique experience. All the details are on maastricht.com, so check that out. Sunday the 7th, also in the Lutherse Kerk, there is an ensemble called Ravalin. It's a concert of song. It's mainly folk song, lots of different languages, lots of different influences. There's a lead singer accompanied by some guitars, a violin, a double bass, and everyone in the ensemble also sings. So I was listening earlier and it sounded very beautiful. Very chilled out, relaxing concert. Details again on Maastricht.com. Another thing to mention, if you're ready to go out dancing, go out partying a bit, at Complex, there's a club night called Pina. It's a bit Latin inspired, very fun night out. It was my last party before Corona, actually. It's sold out, so I'm sorry to mention it, but if you can get hold of a ticket, often people are selling them, or ticket swap, it's definitely one to go to. Very fun. And just if you want to plan ahead a bit for the future, Dua Lipa, who is a massive star, she's playing in the Sportpalais in Antwerp. I just like the idea that someone so big is performing so close to us. And tickets are still available, and that will be in May, I think May the 6th, but you can check that out. Everything is on www.maastricht.com. We also have Facebook and Instagram. There's often some fun stuff on there, and news, interviews, things going on around town. Okay, check it out. Bye.
So there you go. There's some top tips for you for the weekend.
Very nice. Thank you, Christina. Lovely. Another one of our fabulous news segments.
Absolutely. And if you want to find out more information about any of those or any other events that are going on, either this week, during the week, or even the next coming months, then just pop over to maastricht.com, or you could actually access their events calendar through our website as well at the maastrichtedition.com as well. So it's all there for you to have a look at. And there's quite a few things going on, actually. So as you mentioned, coming up is the Dua Lipa concert that's going to be in Antwerp. So that is a biggie. That is a biggie, and we're hoping, actually, not in the too distant future, we'll start getting some more of these big names coming to Maastricht. I mean, it's fantastic. We can go to Antwerp, Amsterdam, Dusseldorf, Cologne. We're not far from these places, but Maastricht, come on, we've got the space for them. So, Dua, if you're watching, come and see us in Maastricht. We'd love to have you. Now,
okay,
I'm just putting it out there. But some other recommendations for you. Well, how about we recommend a book, Tracey? What do you think about that?
Well, you know, this time of year, it's always extra nice to have a good book, isn't it? You know, what have you got for us this week, Jo?
Well, we have another recommendation from the English bookstore, and this week we have, wait for it, My Sister, the Serial Killer.
Oh, how wonderful.
I know. It's a great title, isn't it? I mean, that really does draw you in. It's by the author, and apologies if I pronounce this wrong, Irina Loskova. Braithwaite. Very interesting name. This is a young lady from Nigeria, and the title tells you all you need to know. Basically, it's a dark comedy. The narrator may or may not be sisters with a serial killer. The third dead boyfriend was in self-defense, apparently, so she might not be a total sociopath. But as Christina, who is a nurse in Nigeria, helps her beautiful beloved sister clean up another body, she starts to wonder how much she can help her sister hide. And she'll find out with the help from a love triangle and some family drama. It's a short, quirky novel, and Christina's practical, dry voice pairs perfectly with the morbid humour that plays out around her. Now, you can spend some time looking up all the awards that this book has won, but it probably would be quicker just to read the book in the first place. So there you go.
Yeah, why not? Very nice. Thank you.
I mean, it looks really, really interesting. And I did have a quick gander at good old Wikipedia to check out the author. So she is Nigerian British. She spent some time in Lagos, where she was born, in 1988. Then she had some of her childhood in the UK. Then she went being educated in London. She then went back to Lagos when her brother was born. Then she came back to the UK, studied law and creative writing at Surrey University, and then went back to Lagos in 2012, and then got writing this award-winning novel. So she's backwards and forwards. But I love the title.
Interesting title indeed. So that's another good tip from the lovely Kirsty at the English bookstore in Maastricht. Actually, away from books, if anyone fancies more of a Netflix show, I can absolutely recommend Only Murders in the Building. So if you're looking for something new, we're keeping a theme here.
Yes.
If you're looking for something to, if you're not reading and just fancy a little bit of escapism on Netflix, Only Murders in the Building with Selena Gomez, with Steve Martin, and with Martin Short. It's really worth a look. Very, very fun and entertaining.
Oh, okay. So when you say it's fun, it's actually classed as a comedy, is it, or a comedy drama?
Yeah, it is. It's the storyline is about murder, but there's a humorous twist in there. So I'm not going to say anything more. You'll need to watch it for yourself.
So that would be classed as dead funny. Yeah. Okay. Moving swiftly on. Now, I did promise actually last week that I was going to do an album review, and we completely forgot it because we got all caught up in Halloween. But I do have an album for review for you this week. Of course, when Matt was on the show, Tracey and I used to give Matt an album to review every single week. We picked one randomly from our own personal collection as part of his music education. But we've decided, well, we better take over on the album review. But what do we review? Well, it just so happens that last week I happened to buy a new album, and that was the new Elton John Lockdown Sessions album. So as the name suggests, he was recording this during lockdown, not just with people in his studio, but across video calls as well. I mean, they were actually doing this, probably not using the technology that we use, because that might have been a bit of a disaster. But
that is true.
Yeah, but yeah, do you know what? I found it really, really interesting. It's such an eclectic mix of different kind of genres, different styles. That there was, I mean, to be honest with you, there was quite a few of the younger crowd, shall I say, that I didn't recognise at all. But they're rubbing internet shoulders, if you like, with the likes of Stevie Wonder, Glenn Campbell. Dua Lipa's on there, as we know, because of course that's riding high in the charts. You've got Gorillaz, Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam also was doing a duet with Elton John. So it was a really, really mixed bag. I have to say, my favourite on there was a cover of It's a Sin, which is a Pet Shop Boys track that he did with Years and Years, which I thought was absolutely fabulous. But yeah, it's yeah, I think you have to listen to it a few times actually to sort of work out, because it kind of jumps about a little bit, which can be I would say it's not very cohesive as an album, because it really does jump about. But I think that's just born out of the way that this album was made, where he just sort of got a few mates together or people he liked to say, how about we do something? And of course they all got these different backgrounds and different styles. But for me, yeah, there's some really good tracks on there. There's a few on there I'm like, well, yeah, maybe they'll grow on me. But on the whole, I thought the album was quite good. So I'm going to give it 7 out of 10.
Okay, right. Well, I have no idea. I don't know this album. I'm not a particular fan of Elton John, so I won't be listening to it either. But very good. Let's take that as a 7 out of 10, and let's see if anybody agrees with you or disagrees, perhaps. So
yes, anybody listening out there who's listened to the Elton John Lockdowns album, would love to hear what you have to say about it. But yeah, the reason I marked it down is because I just didn't find it very cohesive. That was the thing, because it all is a bit of a mishmash. I think if you take the individual tracks on their own, you know, you're like, oh, that's good, yeah, that's good. But putting them all together, it was all a bit, I don't know. But
a bit of a kind of little pot of everything sort of a thing. But okay, never mind. The thing is, with many albums, actually, you do find that, there are a couple of albums I have where I love every single song and I listen to it from one to the end. But there are indeed also albums you get where there are a couple of songs that you might kind of fast forward through or skip, for example. So I guess it's not an unknown phenomenon. So, but okay, duly noted and a good tip. What was the name of the album again, Joe?
The Lockdown Sessions by
The
Elton John.
Lockdown Sessions. Okay, people, you've heard it here. 7 out of 10. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who knows? I'll see what I'll choose for next week then. I haven't bought an album for quite some time, but I could find one that I haven't listened to in a while and perhaps give that one a review.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or if anybody out there's got some recommendations for us, that would be nice as well. We're always keen to listen to some new stuff.
Indeed. she said with trepidation. But yes, right. On that note, I'm looking at the time, Joe. It's already 8 o'clock. I think it's time for you to get busy with yours this day in history.
I think you might be right.
I think you're right.
To sort of settle down a little bit. We've whizzed through the first 20 minutes there at breakneck speed. So I think it's time to sort of put our feet up a little bit. Chill. Relax. Let the whole of Maastricht slow down. Put their feet up. Have a nice cup of tea. Because it is time for This Day in History. Do you know what? I think you might have been practicing that this week. It sounded a little more angelic.
There you go. Well, last week we did kind of a spooky version, so anything's probably better than...
Oh, yes, that's true. Yes. That's very true.
It seems like a month ago that we were dressed as witches in wigs and things. Oh, my God. Anyway, carry on.
Yes, today it is Thursday, the 4th of November. Oh, my goodness. We're in November already. All those extra Christmas adverts are appearing everywhere you go.
John Lewis commercial came out today, so it's officially Christmas now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but apparently a lot of people are not liking it as much as previous John Lewis commercials. I mean, The Bear and the Hare is, of course, the best of them all, followed closely by The Old Man and the Moon. But this year's one apparently hasn't hit as many heartstrings as previous versions. But okay. Sorry.
Well, for those of you who are not British, the John Lewis advert is quite a big thing in the UK, and they do spend an awful lot of money on it, and they quite often have famous people singing on it or appearing in the advert. So, as Tracey said, when that comes out, Christmas is definitely on its way. But on this day in 1846, we're going to start with a patent. There was quite a few patents on this day. In fact, there was quite a few big things happening on this day in history. And this one in 1846 was an American inventor, Benjamin Palmer from New Hampshire. He patented the artificial leg. Now, which is a good thing, of course, but I do wonder in 1846 how the artificial leg looked then compared to how an artificial leg looks now. I wonder if basically it was just a carved piece of wood.
I fear you might be right, to be honest. It was probably very rudimentary at that time.
Yes.
Nowadays, but at least they were making some progress.
They certainly were. And a few years later, we have another patent in 1873. Dentist John Beers of San Francisco, he patents the gold crown.
Ooh.
Now, something I've never had is a crown, certainly not a gold one anyway.
Oh, I think back in the day, you see them in movies, they'd have them kind of in the teeth and I don't know, kind of right at the front. In fact, a very odd place to put one. But no, I haven't had any crowns, gold or otherwise.
No. I can't help but think I'd feel a bit uncomfortable having gold in my mouth. I don't know. It just feels. I just was sort of be covering it up. I don't know. It just seems like an odd place to have it. Well, maybe that's just me. I don't know. It's probably just me. 2 years later, in 1875, Tonga adopts their constitution, and in 1879, African-American inventor, another patent. Thomas Elkins, he patents the fridge. Hurrah!
Right, hurrah. Fabulous.
That's a very important patent. Where would we be without a fridge?
Well.
The same year, we have another patent. Oh my God, we got loads of them. James Ritty patents the first cash register to combat stealing by his bartenders in the saloon that he owned in Ohio.
Good Lord. Well, there you are. Needs must, I suppose.
Necessity is the mother of invention, as they say.
Yes.
In 1922, on this very day, Howard Carter discovers the intact tomb of the pharaoh Tutankhamun in Egypt. Mm-hmm. Now, Trace, have you ever been to Egypt?
I have not.
Me neither.
No, not sure why. Became quite a trendy place to go at one point. Everybody was going.
Yeah.
You know, holiday makers, honeymooners, you know. But no, I've never been, I'm afraid. No.
Oh, I mean, I would like to see the pyramids, but I'll be honest. I've heard so many stories about it being so crazy busy and very touristy, and people just bothering you all the time to buy souvenir junk that it kind of puts me off a little bit.
Yeah, that is the problem when you have these really, you know, touristy spots. You know, it comes with its own downsides as well, doesn't it? So
yes,
yeah, maybe one day.
Yes, maybe. In 1939, the first air-conditioned car was exhibited in Chicago, Illinois, and in 1961, get this, Trace, American folk singer-songwriter Bob Dylan makes his Carnegie Hall debut. The tickets were priced at $2.
Oh my goodness! Well, there you go. Wow.
$2.
Wonder how much it would cost now.
Yeah.
2,000. God.
This is when you need a time machine.
Yes, that's true. Gosh, indeed.
$2.
Wow.
And 2 years later, in 1963, his friend John Lennon utters his infamous line at a Royal Variety performance. Will the people in the cheaper seats clap your hands and the rest of you just rattle your jewellery? Excellent line. In 1973, the Netherlands experiences the first car-free Sunday caused by the 1973 oil crisis. Highways are deserted and are solely used by cyclists and roller skaters.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
That'd be quite fun. These days, you'd probably have skateboarders and all these other kind of things as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
To be honest with you, I can't imagine getting on a pair of roller skates these days.
Right.
When I was younger, yes, but not now. I'm just too much of a scaredy cat. In 1981, Dr. George Nikolopoulos is acquitted of over-prescribing addictive drugs for Elvis Presley. Now, I have to say, I mean, you don't want to be accused of killing Elvis. I mean, he died 4 years previously, obviously, in 1977. I mean, being accused of killing somebody is one thing, but Elvis Presley?
Yeah, that's not something you want on your resume, that's for sure.
No, and I can't imagine wherever they put him that he would have survived for very long, because, of course, somebody else probably would have done exactly the same to him.
Yeah.
Now, we mentioned Elton John earlier. In 1993, he was awarded nearly $520,000 from the Sunday Mirror for a false report on his diet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what they accused him of eating or not eating, but it was wrong, and he went after them. He was very, very upset.
Wow.
Now, in 1996, on this very day, British girls group the Spice Girls released their debut album Spice. Goes on to sell 23 million copies. Do you remember being excited about the Spice Girls, Tracey?
I don't really. I never bought their album. I knew of them, but I wasn't particularly like, oh my God, you know. And once you've seen Spice World, the movie, it kind of, oh God,
that was bad.
Oh dear.
Yes, that was really bad.
But I mean, they had some songs that you do remember, and they've become classics in their own right, I suppose. I guess it was of its time. I can't imagine if it came out now, it probably wouldn't have had as much impact or so as it was back then. But I do remember when they first hit the scene, if you like.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't into the. I mean, I think I was probably too old by then to be really into the Spice Girls. I think I look back now and think, oh yeah, they were quite significant. And and if their songs come on the radio, I'm singing along. But I mean, I wouldn't go to a reunion concert of theirs or anything. But as you say, I think they were definitely of their time. Something else as well that was not long after that, 2001, the first Harry Potter film, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Can you imagine? That's 2001, 20 years ago.
It's quite a while now. Those, wow, they've stood the test of time. I've seen all the movies and read all the books. So fabulous. Completely, immediately in love with the first Harry Potter. And that was it for me.
I do remember when I read the first book, I was completely blown away at how good it was.
Yeah.
Considering, I wasn't their target market, to be fair, but I read it and I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I mean, she writes so well.
Yeah, but that's the thing, actually, because she eventually released copies of the book that one had a sort of more childlike cover and the other had a more adult cover. And in fact, a lot of the, young adults and big grown-ups were reading these stories. So, but that's the example. It's like Neil Gaiman as well. He also writes books that appeal to all ages. So, but wonderful, really, really good books. And if you haven't read them, shame on you.
No.
Get yourself down to the English bookstore in Maastricht because they have
yes.
So it's not too late.
Absolutely. In 2008, on this very day, Barack Obama becomes the first African-American to be elected as president of the United States. And finally, on this day, in 2016, it's very apt considering what's going on this week, the Paris Agreement on climate change becomes effective. Or not, depends which way you look at it. Let's have a look at some birthdays. On this very day, 1918, Art Carney, the American Emmy and Oscar winner actor, was born in New York. 1954, a personal hero of mine, Chris Difford, the British lyricist and guitarist from Squeeze, was born in Greenwich in London. 1969, the delightful Matthew McConaughey, the American actor, was born in Texas. And Puff Daddy, or is it Puff Diddy, or is it P, or is it I don't know. He was born in 1969. He was born as Sean Combs, of course, the American rapper and record producer. But I don't even know what name he goes by, to be honest with you.
Not really sure, to be honest. My attention stopped when you said Matthew McConaughey.
I know. I hear you. And a couple of shout outs here because tomorrow Jessica Nathan, who used to also be part of the TME team, who unfortunately left us and went back off to the good old US of A, she will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow. So from all of us here, we'd like to say happy birthday and a happy birthday to Donna Connett from Wendy. She's wishing you a very happy birthday tomorrow as well. And anybody else who is having a birthday either today, tomorrow, this weekend, however you choose to celebrate it, happy birthday. And that was this day in history. Okay, thank you. So there was some big stuff going on this day in history.
Quite a lot. You have that though. Some days are busier than others, it seems.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to put my feet up now and hand things over to you, Tracy, because I think it's time we had a bit of news. And there's been lots going on this week.
Quite a lot. Yeah, managed trying to squeeze it into a couple of minutes, but let's get on with it and see how we go.
Tracy Taylor with the news.
Thank you, Joe, and good evening, everyone. It's November 4th, and you're watching the Maastricht edition on Facebook Live. First, a look at your weekend weather, and Friday will bring a mix of dry, sunny spells and rain. Temperatures will reach 12 degrees. Saturday will be a grey and overcast day with lots of cloud and highs of 11. However, Sunday will brighten up again with some sunshine expected and highs of 12. Moving to your news bulletin for tonight, and more than 5,000 people in the Netherlands have reported a scam in which they were called by someone in English, claiming to be from the National Police or Dutch Supreme Court. Some callers were told that their social security number was being misused and that there was a warrant out for their arrest. Please be on alert for such calls and never give out banking details, download anything, or transfer money. 8 of the 12 Dutch provinces are now flagged dark red on the coronavirus map, including Limburg. It's the first time since the end of July that parts of the Netherlands are on the highest level again. A press conference earlier this week announced the reintroduction of measures as of November 6th, including the wearing of mouth masks in enclosed public spaces, the presentation of a corona pass at more locations, and the request to work from home at least half of your working week. The Dutch Weather Institute KNMI has warned that sea levels in the Netherlands are rising at a much faster rate than initially anticipated. If water levels continue to rise at the current pace, sea levels could rise by 1.2 meters by 2100. Tesla is opening up its charging networks to other electric cars for the first time. The company has more than 25,000 supercharger locations, making it the largest charging network in the world. Its pilot scheme will start with 10 locations in the Netherlands as part of the company's push to take electric vehicles mainstream. Moving to local news, and the Sint Nicolaas Maastricht Arrival Committee has stated that only peats smeared with ash and soot can now be Sinterklaas assistants. It's the first time the Sinterklaas organisers in Maastricht have chosen to follow the national trend and refrain from being accompanied by Zwarte Piet. Sinterklaas traditionally arrives in Maastricht earlier than the rest of the country, and he will be here on November 13th. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, Mayor Annemarie Pentestraka will not receive Sinterklaas on arrival. A SWAT team has arrested a 57-year-old Scotsman in Maastricht who was on the British list of most wanted criminals for 13 years. The man managed to evade the authorities for over a decade with false and stolen passports. The man is wanted for large-scale drug trafficking, drug production, possession of firearms, and money laundering. He is currently in custody awaiting extradition to the United Kingdom. And finally tonight, the Northern Lights were again spotted in the Wadden Islands last evening. The lights were visible in the Netherlands because of a large solar eruption. The display was mainly red with a stripe of green. However, closer to the North Pole, the Northern Lights turned the sky fully green and purple. And that's it for tonight. For more local news, you can follow RTV News in English on Facebook and Instagram. If you are a local business, be sure to check out the Support Your Local Business South Limburg Facebook page, a joint initiative between #Maastricht and the Maastricht Edition. And if you want to discover events, concerts, and cultural activities going on in Maastricht and the surrounding areas, head on over to the website of our partner, maastrichter.com. If a historical city walking tour is more your thing, check out Meet Maastricht, the key to your city. And finally, don't forget that you can always find us on the Maastricht Edition Facebook page, on YouTube, on Redbubble, and on Instagram. For all the details, check out the maastrichtedition.nl.
Nicely done now, Tracey.
Thank you, darling. There you go.
Yes, masks are back.
Yes, they are indeed, as of, well, Saturday, I guess. So a little bit more, well, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world to have to wear a mouth mask. We just have to get back into the routine of it, really, because you get so used to not having one with you and stuff like that. But indeed, masks are back. And yeah, let's see if more stuff comes. But for now, you know, be prepared.
I'm not convinced it's actually going to do anything, to be honest with you.
Well, maybe it gives a false sense of security. I don't know. Maybe it does help. But in any case, it's going to be the rule. And with that and corona passes and everything, as of Saturday, yeah, a little bit of a change in the environment again. But let's see how we go.
Yeah. Well, we've only got a few weeks till Christmas, so fingers crossed we can keep this at bay. But I see you somebody who doesn't want to be wearing a mask while she's singing. Is our guest. Irina Loskova, she's in the house. Good evening.
Hello.
Good
lovely
evening.
To have you with us.
Oh, it's so lovely to be invited and to be here as well. Yes, wonderful.
So, well, we've got lots to talk about because the basics are you are a Russian opera singer that is now in Maastricht. We've got to work out how you got here in the first place. But let's start off with your career. You are a world-renowned opera singer who travels all over the place singing.
I'm world-renowned, but I did okay. Yeah.
Oh, I think you're being very, very modest. But let's start off with where you were born and how the love of opera came along and how you converted that into singing.
So I was born in the city called Voronezh, which is about 500 kilometers south of Moscow. Not so far. I always liked singing. So I went to music school to learn how to play piano from 7. years old. And since then, I always played piano. But then I also liked singing. So during my school years, I was singing pop and jazz. I did not really like opera. I thought, oh, it's loud, it's boring.
Oh.
Yes, I was like singing Patricia Cass songs and, you know, Britney Spears and Jennifer Lopez. I loved them. And then later, I was going to go to the university, as everyone does. You know, my parents really insisted on me not to go into music college, but have a real degree, as they said. And I remember begging my mom, please, I really want to do music. And parallel to university, I did masters in linguistics and translation in Russia. And parallel to that, I went to music college. It's called College of Rostropovich, who is a famous cello player, who was a famous cello player. And I took lessons in the evening or during daytime. They were really, really helpful. So they let me combine my university studies together with the music studies. And I could join, for example, solfege group with violinists, which was hard as a singer. That was hard, but that was a good drive to do better, to learn music theory better. And then I went on a summer trip to, it was organized by university, to University of Bath. And there I met someone who was really enjoyed my singing, and he advised me to audition in UK. And I did not think that would work, but I thought, why not? I'm gonna try, because I wasn't really, I was doing it more as a hobby, and I thought, well, why not? I can go to visit UK and audition. What fun.
And Bath is a lovely place to stay.
Very pretty, yes.
Bath is gorgeous.
Yes, it is indeed. So I auditioned at Royal Northern College in Manchester. I auditioned at Trinity, which is in London, Royal Welsh College of Music, and also Royal Academy of Music. I did not get into Royal Academy at first, but I did get into Royal Northern College, and they also gave me a scholarship. So that's where I went to study postgraduate degree in performance.
Fantastic.
But then I did not finish it because I really liked my teacher there, who was Robert Alderson, and he is a famous teacher in UK. And I really loved him, and I wanted to follow him to Dublin because that's where he decided to relocate. And so I went to Dublin. And that's I did also half a year of music studies. But as it happened, I auditioned for the Glyndebourne Festival Opera Chorus, and I got in. And that's how I moved to UK, back to UK again. I worked in the chorus as a mezzo-soprano first, not as a soprano. And after that, I'm hoping you can still follow my story.
Yes. I'm hooked on every word. I mean, it's so interesting.
I realized then that I wanted to study a bit more, and it was always my dream to go to Royal Academy. And I really wanted to get onto the opera studio program there, which is a PhD program. And I auditioned again, which actually would be the third time I auditioned. And I got in, and with a full scholarship, which was my dream come true. And that's how I studied for 2 years there. And then after that, I was lucky, and I did a few seasons and tours at Glyndebourne Opera Festival, where I did chorus, and I also did small roles as well, which was a fantastic, most incredible experience because it's a world-class opera theater.
It is.
And of course, parallel to that, you always do gigs with, oratorio and sets. And yeah, so there we go. So that was my career in UK.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Well, and we haven't even worked out how Irina came to Maastricht. That's the next part of the story.
I'm exhausted already. I haven't even got to that bit.
So I met and when I was in London, I was in my few last months in academy, and at that time he worked at Oxford University, and that's my current husband, Tim Houtz, and he's Dutch. He comes from around here. Opportunity came along, and we visited Maastricht before 3 times, I think. And I remember walking in summer here and thinking, and as a joke, telling him, "Oh, that's a city I could live in."
Oh no!
We moved here because of him getting a job here, and we thought, let's do it. Let's.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's not a bad place to go, as you've said. I mean, it's very.
We love it. I love it.
Very, very beautiful city, and of course, with a history in music as well, with the conservatorium right here as well. So there is a lot of fabulous musicians studying here, and so on, and lots of live musical performances. So pretty nice. But do you get back over to England? You know, aside from COVID times, do you make any visits from time to time?
Unfortunately, we moved since we moved here 3 years ago. I have not been back yet because I gave birth to a little boy while being here. He's going to be 3 in January, so he's keeping me very busy. So being a mom and being a singer is difficult, but it's great. So we haven't been able to go yet because also, unfortunately, COVID doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't help at all with travel. But how nice! So a young baby, a new place to live, and you're still doing some singing here and giving lessons, I believe.
Yes. So before pandemic, I got involved with collaboration with a fantastic group here, theater group. Called Het Geluid Maastricht, which is led by Romy and Gable Rulofson, and they do interesting and really how do you say that in English? Oh, my brain! It's more experimental theater, and it's very often art with a message, and they are fabulous. They always do such interesting projects. So we were working on an educational project and introducing opera and also singing to children at school kids, in virtual reality. So we would have like virtual reality goggles on and masks, and then there would be a program running like a game, like computer game, but in virtual reality, and they would learn and experience how to breathe and what their voice can sound, and because they wouldn't really see anyone, and so then they would be more brave to actually do it, and then they would hear me in the background singing for real. And for some children, it would be for the first time they would hear a live opera singer. And such great reception. And then COVID happened, and unfortunately it's been a hard time for artists everywhere, but
absolutely.
Now it's looking more positive again and things are opening up.
So what is the plan for you, my love? Because you're settled here now with your new family, but that's Irina being a mum and wife. We need Irina, the opera singer, to be going out singing wherever you can. What is the plan? Are you going to be based here in Maastricht and just singing locally, or are you planning on getting back out there again as and when you can?
We are hoping to actually settle here.
Mm-hmm.
But I am still not giving up on idea of going and performing everywhere yet. but we'll see what life brings. And I really am putting more serious attention now to my teaching, which I also did when I was in UK. I had a few very nice students, so I teach various ranges, age ranges, so from children to adults, so anyone really. Well, children depends, of course, on their age.
Yeah, of course. How exciting though, because I think singing lessons for some reason seems to have become very popular again in the recent months. I'm hearing more and more of people who are looking to find a teacher or start singing again or start singing for the first time. So I guess these are all boxes you can help tick, right, Irina, that people can come to you and would they come with a song? I want to learn this to sing at my parents' wedding or something, or I don't know what it might be.
Absolutely. And of course, I don't teach just opera, but also musical theater. And with children, we do not sing opera. We sing Disney songs.
Songs. Oh, well, I'll sign up for that.
Mean, how can we live without Cocomelon songs?
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, what fun. But this is really
I think
nice.
everyone can sing, everyone. So I never believe that people say, oh no, I don't have ear for music, so I can't sing. No, it's great. It's great to experience your voice, because your voice is your instrument. You sing with the whole of your body, express the emotions.
That's true. And I think also singing lessons and being able to sing can even help with people, you know, with self-confidence, for example, because it's you learn to sit straight, to stand straight, to enunciate, to project. So there's so many benefits. You know?
I agree with you, definitely. You're learning about your body. You're becoming so much more aware of what's going on, of how you breathe, and it's also another kind of meditation process, I think, and learning new songs. And I also teach, I always insist with especially children to learn the piano. Well, I don't insist, but most parents want that, so it's great. Because when you know basic music theory, it's much easier than to learn new songs and discover much more. And I see how much these kids enjoy it, and it's the best reward, really.
Oh, well, it sounds like the best job in the world for sure. But if people do want to sign up for any of your lessons at all, what is the best way of doing that?
So they can contact me via my email address that is on my website, and my phone number there as well, so they can call me or write an email to me, or even Facebook message. So I had some people approach me just via Facebook message. And the first trial lesson is absolutely free.
Wow. Excellent.
So people come, they experience, they like it or they don't like it.
Well, I think as soon as you said Disney, you're probably getting people, including myself, emailing you straight away. Yes.
Okay.
So thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you, and welcome to Maastricht, of course. And we're hoping that in the not too distant future that you'll be coming back on the show. But just before you do leave us, we do have at the end of the show, we're going to be playing a little video that you've sent to us of you singing. Maybe you could just tell us what we will be listening to.
Yes, so it's a Russian song. I chose a Russian song because I'm Russian. And it's based on the words of famous Russian poet called Pushkin. And the composer who wrote the song is Rimsky-Korsakov. So in that song, it's about love and about a person who is away from his home country and he has homesickness. And he asks the lady who sings to him not to sing to him because it reminds him too much of his home country and the loved one he left behind there.
Oh, filling up already, Tracey.
I know. There you go. The power of music.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got that to listen to at the end of the show. So thank you so much for that. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and do let us know the next time we get to actually come and see you in person, so that we'll get everybody down there to come and watch you sing, because I've had a sneak preview of the video, and this girl can sing. Oh my God!
Thank you for your compliment.
It's so kind.
Enjoys it too.
We will.
Thanks ever so much, Irina,
Thank
and we'll
you.
see you next time.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, bless her. And yes, we do have that video at the end of the show, because
people have to stick around for that. You see, we're so sneaky. Look at that. We make them stick around. You know, we're really nice. I can imagine that having singing lessons with Irina would be quite a fun and nice experience. So
I think so
there
too.
you go.
I think so too. Now, speaking of nice experiences, I think it's time for the lovely Lucy from Maastricht. She's coming up next.
Hello there, episode 3 in Maastricht stories on history and heritage of this ancient city that is still a pretty happy place to live in nowadays. To quite an extent, thanks to the history and heritage. At least I think so. But then again, I guess most of you would agree, wouldn't you? Today I'd like to talk about Fort St. Peter. Of course, you are aware, living here, that Maastricht has a long history as a fort, and that is fort with a D, a place where you can cross the river, which makes it worthwhile to lay siege to. A river being a highway necessary for transportation of troops and goods, and the bridge crossing the river at this fort with a D, connecting the seacoast to the great hinterlands of Central Europe. So you've got a crossing of the roads here that has been essential, quite literally, meaning the essence of the city for most of its existence. As a result, starting towards the end of the Middle Ages, the city becomes more and more heavily fortified. And this ring of fortifications keeps extending until well into the 19th century. And one of the crucial additions is building the forts. One on the south side, Fort St. Peter, one on the north side, quite a bit younger, Fort Willem. Try and find that one. It's cute, I promise you. Fort St. Peter is a lot more obvious, if only because of its location. Smack on top of St. Peter's Mountain. Yeah, bear with us, you know, the rest of the country is totally mountainless. And for some reason, people for a long time have overlooked that would be a magnificent place to use to bomb the city with. Of course, in order to do that, you would need cannons and all the, necessary equipment and technology to actually cover that range from the height of St. Peter's Mountain to the walls of the city. But about halfway the 17th century, that's where technology is. So Louis XIV, the Sun King, who's forever trying to extend the border of France to the Delta, is attacking Maastricht, and he puts his cannon on top of St. Peter's Mountain and succeeds in taking the city by heavily bombarding the southern part of the fortifications. Okay, the military commander at the time thinks, his name was Daniel Wolf van Dopf. He is also the guy who built Chateau Nircan in its present iteration, and quite a good strategist and engineer himself. So he makes sure St. Peter's Mountain gets a fort St. Peter. It has 5 sides. It contains 12 spots for cannon, And it serves very well to defend the southern flank of the city. When the French are before the gates again in 1794, but this is the Revolutionary Army, they try to blow up the fort from all the alleyways in the mountain itself and don't succeed. Okay. In 1867, Maastricht is no longer a fortified city. According to the then King of the Netherlands, the fort falls into disrepair. In the 20th century, it becomes a party place for a while with a restaurant and great evenings of dancing and orchestras in the moonlight on the terrace and all of that. You know that. You know, if Maastricht can celebrate, it will. And at a certain point, it is considered to be no longer the right way to make the space accessible. So in the early noughts, between 2006 2012, a big restoration takes place, which restores the fort back to its military guise, more or less, and keeps certain parts in ruin as well to show that, you know, time has gone by. We are not going to rebuild it. And it's a nature reserve now, so special plants and animals. There are tours there. Contact Maastricht Underground. They will happily take you. Bye.
Oh, the lovely Lucy from Big Maastricht. Fantastic stuff. And don't forget, if you want to book any of those tours around the city, then just pop over to meetmaastricht.com and you'll find a whole load of different tours that you can choose from. Or if you want to actually suggest to Lucy, oh, I want to go here, go there, they'll make up a tour for you. So absolutely fantastic stuff. Well, I think we're almost at the end of the show. But of course, before we go, Tracey, what have you got for us on the tiddy-bitty front?
I know, I'm going to have to start doing this earlier in the show, otherwise we're going to run out of time. Well, in tradition, I'm going to recommend another of my tasty tiddy-bitties, and I passed by this place today, actually, and had forgotten how fabulous it is. So if you're looking for a nice cup of coffee and a piece of cake or something sweet on the side, then I would recommend you pass by Coffee by Joosten Marcha, which is here in the Jägerkwartier. Really, really very cool spot, very big on sort of soy milks and lots of natural sort of vegan things, great pastries, great cakes, beautiful space. And what's really special about it is they have certain tables in there where you're not allowed to use your laptop and you're not allowed to be on your telephone. It's a kind of electronic free zone, so you can actually go there and be forced to be offline for a while, which is something we probably all could use. And they've got some beautiful soft low seating, and they've got proper tables, and you can also sit by the window where you can use a laptop and you can sit there with a coffee and catch up on emails. So that's Coffee by Joosten Marcha, a really, really cool spot. And very nice to see that they've actually come through COVID to the other side and actually done pretty well. They did a really good takeaway service, and now they're back in the situation where you can eat in. And actually, in terms of things to do, we've already recommended Maastricht.com. We've recommended Meet Maastricht. Check out all of these things. You can also look at hashtag Maastricht. You know, there's lots of stuff that you can check online. But one shout out must go to the English bookstore in Maastricht, who are kind enough to provide us with the book of the week at the moment, and I'm doing this a week early so people have time to mark their agendas. Now on Saturday, November 13th at 2 p.m, the English Bookstore Maastricht is going to host a book launch by none other than Val M Karren. Going to be presenting October Revelations, which is book 3 in the Deceit of Riches series. Now, not only that, you can get your book signed by Val while you're there, but you can also sign up for some little giveaways in store to win some free books and gift certificates. How cool is that? And to tie it all in, they're also going to be offering some Russian snacks. So you see how it all connects together.
It's all coming together.
I know, it's like we planned it. So that's not not this week Saturday, but next week Saturday. And for those of you with little ones who might be looking to participate, next week Saturday, 13th of November, is also the day when Sinterklaas will be arriving by boat in Maastricht.
Oh, so of course, it's that time of year.
Check that out as well, yes. So the lights are up in Maastricht. It's already getting quite festive. So already stuff for next weekend. But for this weekend, check out our socials, check out the socials of our partners and have a look and see what's going on in the city. Keep in mind the weather may not be the greatest, but I'm sure you can find something nice to do in between the showers. So
absolutely. And one quick thing before we go, Pink Pop, the tickets are going on sale tomorrow. For those of us who have been holding on to their tickets for the last 2 years, we don't need to be buying tickets. But for those of you who are interested, the headliners have been announced. We've got Metallica, we've got Pearl Jam, Imagine Dragons, Queen of the Stone Age, Nothing But Thieves, Danny Vera. I mean, there's a whole host of really, really good names going to be there next year. The tickets go on sale tomorrow, so don't miss out on that. We've come to the end of the show. That's it. We're done. Thank you very much for Irina for joining us this evening. As I said before, we sign off completely. We will be playing a video of her singing before we leave. But we shall be back next week. Have a fabulous week. Whatever it is that you're doing, in whatever weather that you're doing it in. Don't forget to put your masks back on Saturday, and we shall see you again next week on Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you then. Take care. Bye.
Bye.